name is Tegan, and I live in a small country township of Everton, which is in the northeast of Victoria on Pangarang country. Everton is located about halfway between Wangaratta, Myrtleford and Beechworth on the Great Alpine Road. The Great Alpine Road runs from Wangaratta over the mountains to Bairnsdale. Everton is 271 kilometres from Melbourne and 2 hours and 55 minutes travel. Everton has a population of around 270 people and has a general store, which is home of the world famous Everton milkshake, a hotel, caravan park, school, public hall, farm supplies store, Murray to Mountains rail trail, and the Everton Primary School, which I attended and presently has 6 students. Everton was named after the city in England. Human Hovel passed through in 1824 on their trek, naming Mount Buffalo and the Ovens River. William Bowman first selected the Tarrawinji pastoral run in 1837, followed by Francis Murphy in 1846, who became the Speaker of the first Victorian Parliament. The run and the homestead was sold to George Mackey in 1851. Mackey built a 2-storey house, but nothing remains today of the house. Many of our local men fought for our country in World War I and II and paid the ultimate sacrifice. A war monument was built in 1923 to honour them. My dad has 2 cousins on the monument. Everton has 2 parts, Everton Upper and Everton Lower. The main town was in Everton Upper, as that was where the train station and turnstile that turned the trains to go to Bright and Beechworth was located. But when a fire in 1944 burnt the last shop and much of the surrounding land, the township rebuilt in Lower Everton. Everton was on the main road to the goldfields of Beechworth and Buckland. The town had 7 hotels, a racecourse with grandstand, police station, rifle range, football and cricket ground, post office, creamery, golf course. Everton also had a large molybdenite mine with many workers, but it only worked during the First World War and is now a disused gravel quarry. Thanks to white ants, floods, fires, and neglect, most of the above mentioned have disappeared. The Beechworth Railway line closed in 1977. The Bright line closed in 1987. Now the lines are called the Murray to Mountain Rail Trail, which thousands ride on every year. My dad's family have been living in Everton since 1868. The Ward family have farmed the land since they settled over 150 years ago. I live down a gravel lane in a blonde brick house on a 300-acre farm with Mum, Dad, and my guide dog Nimby. We have a very large hill on our property where the snow in winter on Mount Buffalo, Hotham, Falls Creek and Bulla and the lights of Wangaratta can be seen. On our farm we have Australian white sheep. Our sheep do not need shearing, as they naturally shed their wool. Our sheep are lambing at the moment, and we currently have a pet lamb called Minty. Minty is as white as snow and has little droopy ears. We feed Minty 3 times a day with milk in a bottle, and he is starting to eat grass. We also have an alpaca called Patch. He is called Patch because he is white with a big brown patch on his neck and along his back and on his neck. Patchy is super soft and loves eating lucerne hay, locusts, and cherry tomatoes. Patchy keeps the foxes away from our sheep and lambs. Around our house, we have a large garden. At the moment, the daffodils, camellias, and wattles are flowering, and you can hear the bees buzzing. The blue wrens, magpies, and kookaburras singing, and the leaves rustling in the cold south breeze. I like to go out into the garden and take photos of the flowers, plants, birds, and sunsets. All the birds are busy making nests in our garden at the moment. I have lived in Everton all my life and love living here. A day in Everton is usually quiet and peaceful, except when I play my African djembe drum, which I have been learning to play since the start of this year. I love listening to the rhythm and the beat of the drum and feeling the music. I also enjoy knitting, which my grandma taught me, and having a hit of tennis with mum and dad. I love trying new things and pushing the boundaries since I lost my eyesight at the age of 13. In October 2008, I was diagnosed with a brain tumour, which grew into my optic nerves and damaged them, leaving me legally blind. After 30 doses of radiation to shrink the tumour, I returned home and started a completely different but equally fantastic life. On Valentine's Day 2014, I met my guide dog, Nimby. Nimby has given me freedom and independence. I would never have been able to work in local government as a rural access officer and community activation and social isolation program facilitator without her. She allows me to be meaningfully involved and a voice for change in my work and community. As a rural access officer, I support our community to embrace accessibility and inclusion through the creation of communication boards at our council facilities, the opportunity to learn keyword sign, the installation of zebra and wombat crossings in our CBD, and disability awareness training. Nimby is my best friend. She is a golden Labrador with big, brown, loving eyes and a soft, warm coat. She has an inbuilt heat sensor that goes from the wood fire to the sunny spot at our front window. She can tell the time and knows exactly when it's time for breakfast and dinner or when the cheese is out of the fridge. Nimby runs around in circles in our backyard and will scare the sheep if they get too close to the fence. Nimby will hide in the garden so I cannot see her. Nimby loves birthdays and Christmas. She adores presents and has to inspect each one both before and after unwrapping, and never quite grasps the concept that they are not always for her. Nimby has an array of toys she plays with in our lounge room, which include a one-eared llama and a wingless chicken. Nimby and I have been together for 7 years. Nimby and I have an invisible thread that joins us together. She watches over me and keeps me safe. Thank you for letting me share my experiences of living in Everton today. Are there any questions?
Hello, Tegan. This is Kay. Hello?
Hi, Kay. Yep, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? I wasn't sure if I'd unmuted or not. I'm interested in these white lambs where they shed their own wool. Do you use the wool at all, and do you collect the wool?
No, as the wool sort of just falls off in the paddock and sort of along our fences, it can't be used, no.
Oh, okay. So you just grow them for meat or
Yes.
Anything else? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
That was going to be my question at Sheila too.
Mm.
Oh, what a shame you can't do.
Yes.
That was a lovely story, Tegan.
Oh, yeah.
Really lovely.
It sounds lovely with the
Fantastic.
guide dog because you
Oh,
give you so much more
wished I
freedom
could-
on the farm because you know
wouldn't she
there's
have a lovely
no concrete
time?
paths and tactile markers there.
And
Yeah, no.
Did she ever get out the backyard and go up that hill?
Yes. Yep. She comes everywhere with us. So yeah, she loves the backyard and likes getting up into our hill property and having a nice run up there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's a Wombat Crossing? You mentioned about access.
Oh,
Yeah.
So the Wombat Crossing is the one that's sort of raised, so it's a bit like a speed hump when you drive over it in a car, where the zebra crossing is just flat on the road.
So is that
Okay.
the same name as in the city, or is that a country name? Was that just the generic name for those humps in the road?
I'm not sure. It might just be a country thing. I'm not sure.
All right, okay.
so,
Now I
yeah,
know.
I've never heard that
Yes,
expression.
I've heard them
wombat
referred
before.
to as a raised platform. You know, just a
I've never
raised.
heard of that
yes.
expression of Wombat Crossing.
No.
Yeah, it's a
But
good
then we
one.
don't see many wombats
We
around
don't-
here.
It's maybe something like
No.
that.
Actually, I find those crossings a bit disconcerting, the ones, the raised ones. That where you, I think there's one near where I live, and it's okay when I've got my seeing eye dog, but if I use my cane, for some reason I find them a little bit, I don't know, it's a bit off-putting when
Oh, they are off-putting, they are.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. That's really interesting.
Mm.
Well, the thing is, you never know when you finished or started one of them.
Yeah,
There's no
it's
sort
really
of-
odd feeling, isn't it,
Yeah.
Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was curious about was the railway. Can you tell us a bit more about the railway? I didn't know about the railway in Everton.
So yeah, we are sort of an intersection point at Everton. So we had the turnstile that turned the trains to go up towards Beechworth, which is sort of uphill from Everton. And then we had the one that went to Bright, so along towards the snowfields. So now it's a asphalted bike trail that a lot of people ride along.
Oh, so it's something you do on a bike, not on a. So it's just a rail trail, not an
Yes.
actual train on it.
No.
And how does one get to Everton if they're coming from Melbourne or Sydney?
So the Hume Freeway, your main way of getting towards Everton, and then you turn off the Hume Freeway both directions onto the Great Alpine Road.
And is there public transport for people that are blind or vision impaired, or?
Not a lot. There's a school bus that goes through that also doubles as a public bus. But yeah, that only goes through twice a day. Other than that, there's no public transport, no.
So how do you find the challenges of not having public transport? What strategies do you use to get to work and access the shops and the like?
Well, I still live with my parents, so that they'll take me in now and then, and sometimes I catch the bus in the morning.
All right. Do they have taxis or Ubers out there, or?
No. It'd be about $50 each way if I got a taxi. And yeah, definitely no Uber.
No, okay. Mm.
But you can get the school bus in the morning if you choose to.
Yes, yep.
Oh, that's good. And then coming back, and there's at least an option in the morning and afternoon if you wanted to go in there and back. And
Yeah, the school bus comes home too early for my work. It comes home at 3:30 and I don't finish till 4:30, 5 o'clock. But yeah, it's an option for the morning, yes.
Right.
Mm. So you're fairly reliant on family-based transport, which is...
Yes.
Yeah, so if that wasn't
So
available...
Tegan, Sheila, you have to go somewhere to go to, well, not now, obviously, perhaps, but you would go to somewhere to do your work every day.
Yes,
Wangaratta.
yeah. Yes, I
You
go to
Wangaratta,
Wangaratta.
yeah.
Wangaratta
Yeah.
every day to work because Wangaratta is our closest larger town.
So how many kilometres is that? About, like 50 k's?
About 23k.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You need a driverless car, I think.
Ah,
Oh, that might be the future. Yeah, that could be the future.
those new air taxis that they're talking about introducing.
Yeah.
Tegan, you said the population's 270 in Everton. What was the largest? Was it larger during the gold times and things like that, or not? Was it ever a high population?
It would have been higher. Mum's charged off. She'll be able to tell you shortly. She's our big history person in our family, and that's where I've got all the information around the historical side of Everton for today. But yes, it would have been a lot larger, and it has been in the past. Definitely while I've been living here. So yes, it shrunk due to people needing to work longer hours and needing access to facilities a lot closer to them. So yeah, our small towns are shrinking at a rapid rate because there's no employment within our small towns, and schools are disappearing because people go to work in Wangaratta and take their kids in with them.
So what's the future?
And yet in Melbourne, 23 kilometres would not be very far. Thousands of people would drive that distance every day for work, but it would be half an hour's drive or something or other.
Yeah, about half an hour. So
many people spend a lot longer commuting. They, and they would in Sydney too. Up to an hour and a half would be nothing to commute in Melbourne or Sydney. So when you're in the country, you expect everything to be closer.
Yeah, people do. We don't have a problem with it. It's not a problem to us. The largest population was 350, so not a lot larger.
Yeah. So with NDIS funding, you could possibly have support workers help you out with the transport. So I guess that's something. If you didn't have the family transport, I guess you could. Because I have a friend who lives in Castlemaine, and she uses support workers for transport up there to get around the place. And
yes, yeah.
I think it's probably an option which you, which would obviously, if you needed it, you'd probably have access to something like that.
Yes, yeah.
Tegan, do you find it hard to get support workers in Wangaratta, or is there, lots of people looking for jobs?
I don't often use a support worker, so I'm not overly sure.
Okay.
I think there is sort of a lack of, but with COVID, a lot of jobs have sort of opened up in that area, and I think there's a lot more jobs now.
Yeah, well, it gives you more options if you've got outside of your immediate family, if you can, facilitate a worker to support you in like a transport type role. So I guess that's what I'm just brainstorming. If I was living there and I couldn't get out, I'd have to think NDIS application time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Tegan, do you have a local cafe at all?
No, our general store sort of doubles as a bit of a cafe. Like you can get sort of fast food and sandwiches and burgers.
Oh, that's
from
all right.
there.
Yeah, so you can get a coffee there if you wanted one.
Yeah, and your fish and chips and things like that.
Oh, that's all right. No,
can you walk to there? Can you walk?
Yeah, and our hotel does meals as well. Yeah.
So you can walk into town, or is that too far as well?
No. Town's about 400-ish meters away from our house. So yeah,
Oh, that's all right.
often walk and get the paper in the morning, or just to give Nimby a walk. So yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's
I was-
okay.
So I was
Yeah.
thinking NIMBY often stands for not in my backyard. So
Yeah, she's double E though.
she's a
Stella.
double E, lucky her. She's not one of those.
What does the name mean, Tegan? Does that have a particular meaning, or how did you choose that as a name for her?
I didn't choose it as a name. They're chosen when they're born. I know that Vic Roads, she was sponsored by Vic Roads, I think South Bank or something like that. So they would have named her. So yeah, I'm not sure of the meaning behind it. No.
Okay.
But I like it. It's a good name. It sounds a bit like a hippie. It's a good hippie name, I reckon. A really trendy name. That's great.
You're thinking of Nimbin, I think, not Nimby.
Yeah. I said like offshoot from Nimbin. Yeah.
Nimby from Nimbin.
Yeah, I like it.
Who's a Nimby?
Tegan, do you happen to have? I can't remember. You may have told me before, but do you happen to have a your own personal tennis court at home, or?
No, our tennis court. We often walk across our paddock to the tennis courts and the local hall. So
Good.
yeah, sort of on a diagonal from our house. So yeah, we often walk across our sheep paddock to go over to the tennis courts.
Great. Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, Tegan, do you use adaptive balls? Do you use anything different for have you tried different balls, or are there different ones that work better with your vision?
No, I haven't actually used a blind tennis ball before. We just sort of have a slow hit with a normal tennis ball. But yeah, up until this year, I sort of knew nothing about blind tennis. Last year, I mean. So yeah, interested in having a look at a blind tennis ball. Yes.
Well, the blind tennis balls are bigger, larger, but they're foam and have a bell in it, so they are affected by the wind. And you wouldn't have any trouble hearing that there because you're on a farm. But also at blind tennis, we have tried, and they never worked for me because I've got a bit of a hearing problem. But I did have a little bit of vision, and when I had that little bit of vision, we used to buy, and they were only from Kmart for $3 or $4. We used to buy the very light beach balls, and they came in bright colours.
Yes.
I remember I had one that was yellow with a smiley face on, and then I had another one because I, went through different stages of what I could see better, but I've lost that vision now. And then another one had the red and white striped bands around it. So there are different balls, and you just use them with an ordinary racket. And of course, you're allowed extra bounces because you've got a vision impairment. So it's worth, if it works for you, just, see what's around in the, but they were just ordinary beach balls, and they were probably about 8 or 9 inches in diameter.
Yes.
But yeah, they work well. So, just have a look around when when you're around the shops and try other things.
I'll have a look at that. Thank you.
Tegan, do you play like tennis? Is that something you'd like to compete? Do you compete at all, or something you'd like to compete, or is it just purely for fun for you?
I played before I lost my vision. I played junior tennis for the Everton team, and I loved that. But after I lost my vision, of course, we only sort of have competition in a rural area. There's not sort of any sort of friendly just come and have a hit sort of days. So since I lost my vision, it's only been with my family, just for something to do and something to get a bit of exercise. But I'd love to sort of get back playing full games.
Yeah, and that might be another option. I suppose going down the NDIS, you might be able, if you really got competitive, you might be able to get a bit of support around utilising someone to help you practice, or if you needed to more skills training and stuff, there might be an option.
Yeah.
No, that sounds great.
Yeah, Tegan was in the middle of organising a kind of accessible sports day through work at the council, so that might also be a nice way to find. Was that going to be something where you could find other people to play with, Tegan? Do you have many other people in your community who you could have friendly games with?
No, not with vision impairment or blindness. No. So yeah, it was definitely through that we had a bit of interest from a couple of people in our community who live with blindness and low vision. And yeah, it was definitely something that I wanted to give a go and see how it went. So yeah, hopefully we can get that up and running in October.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about being transported into the country. I wonder if you could describe a bit more about your house and what is it, a real country house? Is it 2-story, something like that?
No, it's a single story. It's just a blonde brick 70s style house with a tiled roof, just a 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom sort of house on a 5-acre area, with our garden taking it about 2.5 of that. Yeah.
So is it a property that has commercial crops on it, or is it just a hobby farm type thing?
No, we don't do cropping because we've got hill country. So around our house we have our sheep, and our hill property at the moment is leased to another farmer that has his cows on it.
Oh, okay. So the sheep are fine wool sort of sheep, are they, that you can shear, or there's not?
No,
you can't shear their sheep. They lose their wool.
So
naturally.
they all and the wool's not any good for spinning, or it's okay?
No good from spinning. Our alpaca, we can use his wool, but no, this just falls off in the paddock in little chunks. No, so these are meat sheep.
Meat sheep. Okay.
Yes.
So that's something you sell to a marketplace, is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Is Patch a friendly alpaca?
Yeah. Yep. I can hand feed Patchy. So yeah, he's lovely, and he's lovely and soft, and of course he's got beautiful wool that we can sell or try and spin.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So your property is like quite hilly where you are. It's a very hilly property, is that right?
Yeah, where our house is, it's flat, but we've sort of got 2 properties around the house, and then we've got the hill area where we've got a couple of hills in that property. So yeah, yep.
Mm.
Do you ever I find the country, how can I say this? It's sometimes in the country you can really sense the history, the atmosphere, when you talk about the weather, I think you mentioned snow and the explorers that came through there, and to me it's got a whole atmosphere to it, and it's that the history. Even when you mention ovens, the area ovens, it sort of triggers memories of reading about Aboriginality. And do you ever feel that by living there, is that something that you're conscious of and enjoy, or?
Yeah, we're sort of surrounded in history here, and around our area there's remnants of old houses and still old houses that are lived in our area. So yeah, it's a very historical place with a deep history.
Yeah,
that is part of life. Yeah.
That's really, yeah, I really love that. It's really interesting. For me, it's like really interesting. For others, would probably know. For others, like my son, he would hate that. He's like, oh no, he doesn't really like the country much. But no, for me, it's like, oh, yeah, it's so fascinating.
Yeah, and we find things in our property, like old ploughs, horse-drawn ploughs and things like that. Sometimes when we do some work up there, old spanners and things that were used on wagons and different things like that. So yeah, it's very, very deep in history, and you don't have to look far to see what was here 100, 150 years ago.
Any famous bush rangers in that area?
No. Well,
good.
we've got Ned Kelly, and he supposedly drank at the hotel. He was a very busy man. He drank at every hotel in our area. But yeah, he's sort of our only claim to fame in the bushranger area.
Right.
Yeah, Glen Rowan's not far away from us.
Does it ever snow where you are, where the farm is?
No, we can see the snow from where we live, but no, it doesn't snow regularly. No.
Right.
Yeah, we're near Vineyards and Brown Brothers, and yeah,
really?
it's not far away.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's
You
appealing.
can go for a regular tasting.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, so Millawar, where they're based, is only about 10 minutes away from us.
Oh, wow. You're making it very appealing, Tegan. You might have to put some advert up for those who want to live there or something.
we can. Are you restricted like in Melbourne? I guess you are in moving around the Everton. You're restricted like we are, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, we are at the moment because Shepparton's only about an hour and a bit away from us. So yeah, we've sort of got our first taste of COVID in our area. So yeah, restrictions are very similar to yours at the moment.
Yeah, but you've got the luxury of having a big property to wander about on. So a lot of people in Melbourne are stuck in units and very restricted inner city dwellings. So I guess that's a great place to be, I guess, at the moment. Yeah. It
is, yeah. Yeah, and we're very grateful and thankful of being in a rural setting at the moment, yes.
The bike, I think the bike track or where people cycle, do people run on that at all? Do people walk and run on that or?
Yep, they do, yes.
Right.
Do you tend to get out on it, Tegan? Have you done any of the walks to the other towns from there?
Yep, a few, and rode my bike when I still had sight. So yeah. It runs through your property. Yeah, it runs sort of through our property. So yeah.
Any chance of getting back on a bike, do you think, Tegan, or?
I can ride. I've still got a little bit of vision. But yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you thought about tandem?
Otherwise, you can convince someone to get tandem.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I said, if you convince someone to get a tandem bike.
I know a couple of people in Wang with low vision that do the tandem bike riding through lines. But no, I haven't gave it a go. No.
It's quite popular with quite a few of our members down here. We've got a biking group based in Kooyong, and they go all over. So this might be, a candidate to go, because I think it goes all the way from Wangaratta to Bright, doesn't it, Tegan? You can kind of do like quite a few Ks along it. Yeah. When I looked it up, it was like 97 Ks in total as a trail. So yeah, it'd be a pretty epic adventure to follow it all the way along.
Yes, yep. Yeah, and then you can turn from Everton and go to Beechworth, which is sort of straight uphill. So
nice. Or maybe when we get out of lockdown, we'll have to organise a walk up your way and go along the rail trail.
Yeah, we
That's
can
great.
all lob in at their joint there. Pitch some tents out the front.
Yeah, definitely.
Tegan, I'm not sure whether I misheard. Did you say something of nice milkshakes, or did I create that?
No, our general store has a big sign up above its roof saying that they have the Everton's world famous milkshakes.
Oh wow! Oh yeah.
Whether they are
it-
or not, we don't know.
Oh.
No, it popped up about 15-ish years ago. That sign, I think
Fantastic.
the owners decided to do it for a bit of a publicity and to make a bit of money. So
Right.
yeah,
I wonder what flavours they have. Can you find out what flavours they have, Tegan, next time? First, I
They
really
have-
wouldn't mind knowing what flavours.
They have 24 different flavours. So
24?
There's a big range.
Oh wow!
Big range.
Oh, that's fantastic. We're definitely going to come to Everton.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
where
no.
would we stay in Everton? I guess there's accommodation there. Is there?
There's a caravan park.
Is that the only accommodation? I guess you could rent a cabin or
There
something.
might be Airbnb or something.
Yeah.
I wonder if there'd be something big enough
I don't know.
for about 10 people.
There's not many populations in Everton. What was the population again? Was it
270
270.
270?
and 6 at the school. That's well, how. So I suppose the students range in age too, that wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
range and age. Yeah.
It'd be a composite class of 5 to 17 or something. That'd be fascinating. That's I think it's really great.
Yeah, it's only a prep to school. It's only a primary school. So yeah.
Oh, it's only prom, yeah.
Yeah, only primary.
Oh, that sounds like my type of school. I didn't really like primary school. So I think I'd do much better in a school like that, I think.
Did you go to the local primary school, Tegan?
Yes, yeah, I attended it, and it had about 30 people going to it. 30 students when I attended.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, so towns have got smaller, but I guess in the future that might change now because people are wanting to move to the country. So
Yeah.
Have you had many new people kind of move in because of COVID, or anyone from Melbourne kind of come up?
Yeah, we've had a couple of people move in, yes.
And prices are very dear.
And would
Yeah.
there be houses for sale? Was it something that people could buy? Or
Yeah,
are they
yeah.
all on big properties?
We have a few sort of just house blocks within sort of the main bit of the town. But yeah, a lot of them would generally come with about 5, 10, 15 acre land around them.
Mm.
So what
lot
would be
of
the average
mowing.
price for a house there? Do you know, Tegan? And what sort of price you'd be looking at?
Yeah, at the moment it's about 5 acres, 3-bedroom house is about 800,000. So they're pretty good prices at the moment if you're selling, not if you're buying.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not a fair bit of money, isn't it? But it's a lot of land. It's a good property.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what molybdenite is?
I was wondering, is it some sort of stone, is it?
Yeah, so it was used because our mine only worked through the war. It was used to harden steel.
Oh,
So it was used in our cannons and things like that
oh,
during wartime.
okay. I was thinking more jewellery, but not jewellery at all.
No.
No. Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's interesting. I suppose there's
So
not
would
too
there
much.
be
hardened, yes. Don't they harden steel at other times, or maybe it was because it was the quantity they needed in those times?
Yeah, it was the quantity they needed, and
Quantity, wasn't it? Yep. So would it be used for anything now?
No.
Wonder if a scientist could find a use for it. But no one's ever thought of.
Yeah, it's fairly well down in our
It's
in
a
our
deep
ground.
mine.
So yeah, you've got to go quite deep to find it. So that's why it's sort of stopped, and they stopped mining it.
And it's the sort of thing that the Chinese would find a use for and be wanting it.
Maybe.
Yeah, lucky it's not needed for smartphones. I think otherwise they'd be going, mining it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about gold panning? Do people ever go gold panning down by the river, or is that a pastime that people do in the area?
There was never any gold found in Everton. Beechworth is a big gold panning town, and Bright and Buckland have a little bit, but no gold was ever sort of found here.
Yes, there might be a gold nugget somewhere around there, Tegan.
Train the dog to
We
find
wish.
it. Get NIMBY onto it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They want to see me.
So,
Right.
for those of you that have your video on and can see, here's the queen of the house.
Put it a little bit lower and tilt it a little bit more. Oh yeah, perfect.
Can you see
She's
her?
napping in this little bed, and she's a gorgeous golden. Is it a lab?
Yeah, she's a Labrador.
Yeah, and yeah, she looks super cute and fluffy.
Oh,
Oh, big brown eyes, gorgeous golden ears. Just doing a bit of a raised eyebrow and looking rather like, why did you just wake me up?
If I was a guide dog, I'd want to be working for you, I think. It must be great to be a guide dog there.
Yeah, she's got it pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh.
He's got a wonderful life. Doesn't even know how good it is. We're thinking we might come and join her.
Yeah, she's got a little corner with all these pictures of her growing up as well. So there's lots of NIMBY photos.
Yeah, lots of NIMBY photos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
And Tegan, does she chase the sheep?
She does if they get too close to the fence. So if she goes out, goes out in the backyard and they're near the fence, she'll tell them who's boss. So yeah.
Do you have any snakes there, Tegan?
Pardon?
The play. She thinks they're play.
Everywhere has snakes.
Yeah, we get snakes. So we get browns and blacks.
Oh, do you worry about that being vision impaired?
Yeah. Me and Nimby go out quite early in the morning in summer, and to get our exercise. So we dodge the hot parts of the day.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh. Wow,
Yes,
what a
they're a real
fascinating.
danger for dogs, aren't they? So I don't know if you can train a dog to keep away from snakes or not.
We did a bit of training with guide dogs for her to just come to me and ignore the snake, because dogs are sort of drawn to the movement of a snake. So we did a bit of training when I first got Nimby around that.
So what other special training does she need to live in the country? Is there other type of, because she wouldn't be walking on footpaths and things like that. So
no, it took a long time for her to work out that she could walk in the middle of our lane way without worrying about being run over. So it took a bit, but she's adapted now, and yeah, she's definitely a country country guide dog now. But yeah, when we go to town, it's the same as Melbourne, just on a very smaller scale.
So can she adapt between the two different environments, from Everton into the main drag? How does she go with that?
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah, she knows. Generally, yeah, she knows when she's walking to the shop, and sometimes I walk her not in harness to our local shop in Everton. But yeah, in town she's really good, and she works how she was trained in Melbourne. So
all right.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken her on the train?
Yep, we've gone on the train a couple of times, and yeah, she doesn't mind it. Yeah.
Nice. That's good.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I've learned so much about Everton, or so many things that I didn't know before, Tegan. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Really appreciate, the time you put together in kind of finding out the history and sharing, giving us a bit of a picture and a window into your world. So, yeah, really appreciate it.
Oh, good. Thank you for having me.
And it's so great to think that we have an ambassador like yourself involved in a regional area.
Yeah.
I think it's an absolute plus. And
absolutely, yeah.
It's beautifully presented, and really appreciate that.
Yeah, well done, Tegan.
Very good. Thank you, Tegan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tegan.
And just before we finish, I was just going to say, for those who may not know that the women's goalball beat the world champions last night, and they're going. I think that they're relying on China to win this afternoon against Canada. If China win, apparently they go through to the next round, which is a huge achievement, I think, for the Australian women's goalball. So go China.
Yeah, wonderful.
Go China.
Oh my God.
It's this afternoon, isn't it, Nick?
I think it's at 3:45 on 7
3:45, around about 4 o'clock or something?
Yeah, 3:45, I think, and it's on 7 Plus if anyone's looking for it. And it's quite interesting listening to the description and the commentary. So, fingers crossed.
Great.
Yeah. Anyway, it was great to meet you, Tegan, and it's good to hear about blind people living out in the country. It's it certainly transported me out of suburban Baronia. So anyway, but
yeah, that's right. It's lovely, and to hear your passion coming through that you really love being there, which is great.
Yeah.
It's an incredible place to live, and the support we've had. I know when I was going through treatment for my brain tumour, the community raised $20,000 to go towards that through an auction. So the community spirit and support in this area is huge.
Now, was that the community of Everton or Wangaratta?
Everton.
Wow.
Oh, wonderful. Very good.
Isn't it fantastic?
Yeah.
Obviously, they appreciate having you there, Tegan.
Yeah, that's incredible. Really incredible. Yeah. Wow. So I guess, we have like 1 or 2 minutes for any final words of thanks, and otherwise, we'll prepare to close the call.